Some people believe in the spirit of sharing and community, but my neighbor Karen took that concept to an entirely different level. She didn't just think what's mine is yours. She firmly believed that what's yours should automatically become mine. Buckle up for a wild story about how she crossed every possible boundary when I dared to say no to her audacious pool borrowing plans. After countless months of relentless saving, endless side hustling, and masterfully dodging HOA drama like Neo in The Matrix, I finally achieved what seemed like an impossible dream: my very own backyard pool. Not just any pool. A pristine saltwater oasis with meticulously chosen sleek tiles and the incredibly sweet sound of pure summer freedom. I had envisioned perfect afternoons with no unexpected kid-created tidal waves, no ear-piercing screams from neighboring yards, just absolute, blissful peace. Until Karen caught wind of my new addition. She lives 2 houses down the street. You know exactly the type I'm talking about. The neighbor who casually borrows your garden hose without asking, appoints herself as your personal package coordinator, and somehow always knows everything happening on the block. The kind who treats the neighborhood like her personal lending library, except nothing ever gets returned. Hi, we'll be over at 2. One particularly peaceful Saturday morning, my doorbell chimed with what I'd soon discover was the most presumptuous knock in neighborhood history. Karen, hi there. Just dropping by to let you know that I've already promised the kids we'll all be coming over around 2 to enjoy your beautiful new pool. Thought you'd appreciate the heads up so you can prepare for us. Me, I'm sorry, but don't you mean you're here to ask if you could possibly come over? Karen, oh sweetie, don't be so formal. It's just water after all. And aren't we supposed to be a close-knit community? Everyone knows sharing is caring. Besides, it'll be fun. Reader, I stood there in complete disbelief, blinking not once but twice, trying to process this unprecedented level of entitlement. I gathered my thoughts and responded with carefully measured politeness, but unmistakable firmness. That no, this wouldn't be possible. I explained that this was my private property, my personal pool that I had invested considerable time and money into. And quite frankly, I had been looking forward to enjoying some peaceful solo swimming with a perfectly chilled margarita in hand, not serving as an impromptu lifeguard for her uninvited children. What followed was nothing short of an epic tantrum that would put any sugar-rush toddler to shame. Karen's transformation from sugary sweet to sour was instantaneous, like flipping a switch. Oh, so that's how it is? You think you're better than everyone else in this neighborhood? Just because you can afford a fancy pool while the rest of us suffer through the summer heat. She dramatically stormed off down my driveway, leaving a trail of muttered complaints about selfish neighbors and vague threats about HOA violations and community standards. At the time, I dismissed it as typical Karen theatrics. I really should have known better. The very next afternoon, I returned home from running errands to an absolute nightmare scenario. The unmistakable sounds of screaming and splashing filled the air, and there, in all their glory, was Karen's entire extended family treating my backyard pool like their personal water park. Their towels were draped over my carefully chosen patio furniture. Half-empty juice boxes bobbed pathetically in the water like dejected pool noodles, and snack wrappers danced across my deck in the breeze. I stood frozen at my back gate, trying to comprehend this brazen invasion of my property. Me, what the actual Karen? Karen, casually floating in the deep end, looking completely unbothered. Oh hey, well, we noticed you were out, and since it's such a beautiful day, we naturally assumed you'd come around to seeing things our way. That was the moment I decided enough was enough. I didn't just change the locks. I immediately pulled out my phone and called the police, while Karen watched in apparent disbelief that I would dare to protect my own property. The police arrived in record time, much to Karen's visible dismay. She attempted to defend her blatant trespassing with increasingly desperate variations of, "But we're neighbors, and this is what communities do." Spoiler alert for anyone as entitled as Karen. That's definitely not how property law works in the real world. In a delicious twist of fate, this investigation revealed that this wasn't even close to her first unauthorized backyard venture. She had apparently been helping herself to various amenities throughout the neighborhood, like some misguided HOA Robin Hood figure, redistributing access to private property as she saw fit. Except, without any of the charm, noble intentions, or legal standing that made the original Robin Hood a hero. The consequences were swift and severe. She received a substantial fine that made her pool-crashing adventure probably the most expensive swim of her life. The HOA called an emergency meeting to address the situation, and now, thanks to Karen's brazen behavior, our entire community has implemented enhanced surveillance systems and strict new pool gate policies that would make Fort Knox proud. Pool rule number 1: don't mess with the waterlord. These days, I enjoy my peaceful poolside margaritas with an extra touch of satisfaction, sitting beneath my newly installed sign that reads, "Private pool. Karens need not apply or trespass." And here's the sweetest part of the aftermath. Her kids shyly waved at me through the fence the following week, clearly embarrassed by their mother's behavior. I responded with a friendly wave of my own, using a bright pink pool noodle as a royal scepter, every bit the benevolent but firm waterlord of my domain. Personal boundaries aren't just lines in the sand. They're essential barriers that deserve respect and protection. And when someone decides to perform an unauthorized cannonball right through them, you're not just allowed but obligated to make a splash of your own in defense of your property rights.